Welcome back for another video. Today we're going to do our first power rankings video of 2023. It's still early on. Training camp hasn't happened, preseason hasn't happened. A lot of things could change depending on injuries, depending on roster moves. DeAndre Hopkins was just released, not even traded. He was released. And not that that really changes anything with my current power rankings, but anything can happen. Speaking of DeAndre Hopkins, my number 32 team coming in even before DeAndre Hopkins was released is the Arizona Cardinals. Now they don't have D-Hop, J.J. Watt retired, A.J. Green retired, Kyler Murray probably not going to play at least half the season. And at that point, do you really even bring them back for what they're going to be? So early on, it looks to me like the Cardinals are the easy pick to have the number one overall pick in 2024. Number 31 is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after losing Tom Brady and all the guys that are aging on the team, the guys that they've lost, having Baker Mayfield at the helm. I am much lower on the Buccaneers than a lot of other people, and I understand that, but I just am not very high on Todd Bowles and what he brings as a coach. I think that is a huge factor in how all these teams should be rated. So for me, the Buccaneers are number 31. Number 30 is going to be the Packers. Yes, a lot of this is the unknown and what is Jordan Love and what's that going to be? What kind of coach is Matt LaFleur going to be without Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback? But then you look further, like this team is so young that it's hard to sit here and rate them higher because I just don't know what to expect. Without Aaron Rodgers there, in my lifetime, this team has been Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. What is it going to be without that? So for me, the Packers are ranked 30th in my first power ranking of the year. Number 29 is going to be the Atlanta Falcons for a lot of the same reasons. A lot of unknown. Desmond Ridder is taking over. I think the future is bright, but this is a rebuilding team. And at this point, I'm just not sure what to expect from the Falcons. So they come into 2023 as a 29th ranked team. Number 28 is going to be the Bears for a lot of the same reasons as the Falcons, but they have Justin Fields. That's really the thing that separates them. I think their rebuild on paper looks better right now than the Falcons. Go ahead, give me the Bears as a 28th ranked team going into 2023. And the Texans are going to be the 27th ranked team going into 2023. I think they are definitely on the right path, a bright future for sure. But they are very early on in the rebuilding process, but they have DeMeco Ryans, they have CJ Stroud, and I think things for 2023 might not be great for the Texans, but that could change in the future. Number 26 is the Washington Commanders, who switched out from having Taylor Heineke and Carson Wentz to having Jacoby Brissett and Sam Howell. And is that really that much of an upgrade? I think that's hard to say, but I think what they did with the rest of the roster was an upgrade for the Commanders. And what they're trying to build under Ron Rivera, they have new ownership coming in. The Commanders, for me, are rated as low as they are because of quarterbacks, but I think they're on the right path. Number 25 is going to be the New England Patriots. Since Tom Brady's left, Bill Belichick and the Patriots have really struggled to be able to find any kind of groove and find any kind of resemblance of what they were under Tom Brady. And with Mac Jones at the helm, you didn't upgrade the quarterback position. So it's hard to sit here and say that I think Mac Jones is going to be able to find a stride. From his rookie year to his second year, Mac Jones took a bit of a decline. Not just in numbers. I know he missed games, so the numbers are going to be down. But just to look at what he put on film, I just don't have confidence in Mac Jones as a guy. And I think the Patriots are going to suffer because the quarterback is the most important position on any football team. Number 24 in the power rankings is going to be the New Orleans Saints. And while they still, you look at them on paper, they have guys on a lot of different levels. This is a team that is aging. The aging guys, year by year over the last couple years, have had a little bit of a decline. You would have to expect that that's going to continue, even though you bring Derek Carr in. So you're upgrading at quarterback. I don't know how much more he can really improve this team, especially with Dennis Haley at the helm instead of Sean Payton. This isn't the same Saints team it was with Sean Payton. So while I like Derek Carr and I'd like to rate the Saints higher because I've always kind of liked the Saints, for me, they are 24th in the power rankings going into 2023. Number 23 in the power rankings is going to be the Indianapolis Colts. Seems like everybody forgets that this is a team that had a top 5 defense for much of the year last year, ended up with a top 10 defense at the end of the year. And now they've added Shane Steichen, they've added Anthony Richardson, they added Isaiah McKenzie and Josh Downs at receiver. Jonathan Taylor's coming back healthy. By all accounts, the offense for the Colts should be much improved. And if you're able to pair that with the defense that could be top 5 or top 10. The Colts could be much better, but because of what we saw last year and because Anthony Richardson is probably most likely going to be a project quarterback, got to rate him still somewhat low. They come in 23 going into 2023. Number 22 is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders, who switched from Derek Carr to Jimmy G. They don't have Darren Waller anymore, but I think they upgraded their defense. Now, Josh McDaniels is still the coach. That's a lot of the reason that they're being rated this low. And what we saw from them last year was uninspiring. So while I think they have a chance to be good in 2023, at the moment, they're currently going to be ranked a little lower at 22. Number 21 is going to be the Rams. Now, they don't have Jalen Ramsey. They traded him away. But they have Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, and Matthew Stafford coming back healthy this season. They have Sean McVay as their coach. And with all the draft picks that they had, I think that there's some hope for the Rams in 2023, but not enough to rank them any higher than 21st going into 2023. Number 20 is going to be the Cleveland Browns. Having Deshaun Watson have a full offseason to get acclimated with this team, getting a lot of guys back healthy. And with some of the moves that they were able to make, both in free agency and through trades, specifically getting Elijah Moore, a wide receiver coming in, one of their biggest needs in the offseason. With what we've seen from this Browns team over the last few years and the constant disappointment, even though they have all this talent, it's hard to rank them any higher than where I currently have them. Whereas, again, at 20 going into 2023, number 19 is going to be the Tennessee Titans, who, you have Ryan Tannehill at quarterback still, but you have Derrick Henry coming in healthy. Hopefully you can keep Treylon Burks healthy throughout the season. Hopefully you can keep Treylon Burks throughout the season, as he was unable to do that in his rookie year. I saw a stat, Derrick Henry has more career receptions than all the Titans receivers combined, which is absolutely crazy. So this Titans team is really being held up, by Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, and all the guys that they have on the defensive side of the ball that really make things go, plus the coaching and Mike Vrabel. He's a very good coach, seems to be able to pull wins from places that they shouldn't be pulling them from. How much should you really expect from the Titans? Probably not Super Bowl contenders, but they're a team that's probably going to end up right around 9-8 this season. And for me, they're ranked 19th going into 2023. 18th is going to be the Panthers with Frank Reich and the amazing coaching staff that he was able to put together. And the way that they were able to rebuild an offense through one offseason, and already they have, a top 5, top 10 defense, a lot of guys over there. The Panthers have a chance to be really dangerous. But because we haven't seen it, I'm going to reserve the right to put them any higher. Again, I think they could really be a powerhouse in the NFC, especially with what the NFC is compared to the AFC. If Bryce Young is a guy, assuming he ends up taking over for Andy Dalton, I think the Panthers could be dangerous. But because of the unknown, they're going to be 18th going into 2023 on my power ranking. 17 is going to be the Steelers, who really attacked this 2023 offseason aggressively, both in free agency through the draft, trying to build around Kenny Pickett and try to help him be successful. And I think they did all the right things this offseason. This isn't a team that I think is going to compete for a Super Bowl in 2023, but they are definitely getting better. I think Mike Tomlin is once again going to lead this team to a winning record in 2023, but they are the 17th ranked team going into 2023 in the power rankings. Getting into the top half of teams, 16 is going to be the Seattle Seahawks, who looked really good last year when everybody thought that they might be the worst team in the NFL. Certainly I did, but they impressed me, and I think they did a good job of building on that in the 2023 offseason with the guys that they're bringing in and things that they were able to replace. I think the Seahawks are going to be a team that's going to be dangerous for people. Maybe not a Super Bowl winner, but definitely a playoff team. They are ranked 16th going into 2023. 15th for me is going to be the New York Giants. I think with everything we've seen, the growth we saw from Daniel Jones last year, the way that they are finally, building this team around him, you look on paper, this team looks like it could be a problem. With good coaching, Brian Daboll, an amazing coach, and what he was able to make that team last year, especially with all the injuries that they had and what they were still able to be. I think the Giants are going to be a dangerous football team, definitely going to be in the playoffs. May not be Super Bowl contenders, but going to be very good. They're 15th going into 2023. 14th is going to be the Los Angeles Chargers, team that has a lot of talent. They had a lot of injuries last year, but on paper, with all those guys coming back, they definitely should be a playoff team. The only thing really holding them back, in my opinion, is coaching, or they could be higher on this list. But going into 2023, they're 14th on the power ranking. 13th is going to be the Broncos, having Russell Wilson and the way he seems to be putting in the work to be in shape, and the way we know Sean Payton is going to use him the way Sean Payton wants to use him, not the way Russ wants to be used. So I expect Russ to be more mobile and to have more of that escapability this year. And that's probably a reason he's been losing weight. And with everybody coming back healthy, the defense that the Broncos have, that offense should be good to go, assuming Javonte Williams can come back and not only stay healthy, but be any resemblance of what we were able to see from him early on in his career. I think the Broncos have a chance to be really good. They can really put it together in the first year under Sean Payton. They could compete for a Super Bowl. Don't know how likely that really is, which is why I have them ranked a little lower, but still top half. They end up being ranked 13th going into 2023 for me. Number 12 is going to be the Dallas Cowboys, team that every year wants to win a Super Bowl, every year disappoints. It's hard to put them higher. They have a lot of talent, though. And in 2023, they made some strides to really get better. I think getting Stephon Gilmore from the Colts is an excellent move for them and really takes what is already a stellar defense under Dan Quinn. And with all the pieces that they have, the pass rush that they have, they added to that, adding in the secondary next to Trayvon Diggs, who I think really took a step in 2023 as an elite corner, not just an interception guy that was getting burnt for deep balls. He's an elite corner now, and I think pairing him with Stephon Gilmore is great. The other things that they were able to do in that secondary help out. That defense is going to be great. The offense, what this team goes as far as Dak Prescott will take. And we'll see how far that is in the post-Ezekiel Elliott era. For me, they're ranked 12th going into 2023. Number 11 is going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars, team that it pains me to be high on the Jaguars, but they've assembled a really good team. Honestly, I think what holds them back is that they didn't do enough to upgrade the defense in this offseason, and I think that's really going to hurt them, just like it hurt them in the last postseason. But I think the Jaguars are going to be very good this season. They've done a good job of building around their young quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. Doug Peterson has shown that he's a good coach, as long as the front office is actually building a roster that can win games. So I think the Jaguars are going to be very good. They're ranked 11th for me going into 2023. The Vikings are the first team cracking the top 10 for me. The Vikings are the first team cracking the top 10 for me. I think they are going to once again be very good. I think they did a good job this offseason of replacing pieces that they had to. Adam Thielen got replaced with Jordan Addison. You draft other guys in the secondary to replace other guys that you need to. That secondary has been bad. They need to beef it up. They're getting some young guys in there. It might be a little rough. That defense might not be great this year, which is a thing that's probably going to hold them back from winning a championship. But the Vikings offense, going to be stellar this year. You would have to expect that. I think they're going to be a top 10 team. And their division foe, not the Packers, it's going to be the Lions coming in at number 9 for me. I think the Lions are going to be exceptional in 2023. I think they have a real chance to compete for a Super Bowl with the way that they've built that team. We've seen Jared Goff win games when the roster around him is really good. Now, Jameson Williams is suspended for the first 6 games of the year, so I would understand why people would say this should be lower going into the season. But I think between all the coaching that the Lions have and all the players that the Lions have, I think the defense is actually going to be a top 10 unit this year. I think the offense is going to be top 10 again. They're going to put up a bunch of points. So Lions are going to be a very dangerous team. They come in at 9 for me in my first power rankings of the year. Number 8 is going to be the San Francisco 49ers. This is a very good football team, one that's pretty much competing for Super Bowls every year. The only real question is what's going to happen at quarterback. But they have Kyle Shanahan. Pretty much any quarterback that steps in makes it work, which is why they're still ranked so high for me. Even if they start the year with Sam Darnold and then Brock Purdy comes back and they want to go with Brock Purdy, however they work it, Kyle Shanahan's going to find a way to win games. That defense still has a bunch of players. The offense still has a bunch of players. They're still fit to compete for Super Bowls, which is why they come in at number 8 for me in my first power rankings of the year. Number 7 is the Jets, who obviously they trade for Aaron Rodgers. That's going to jet them up the power rankings the same way it took the Packers and shoved them all the way down to number 30 in the power rankings, right? So the Jets being at number 7 is self-explanatory. They did a good job of building the team around them, and they already had a good young nucleus built there for the Jets. They really needed a veteran quarterback, somebody that could come in and win right now. They were able to do that with Aaron Rodgers. The Jets are going to be competing for the Super Bowl this year, and they are number 7 in the power rankings. Number 6 is going to be the Baltimore Ravens. They paid Lamar Jackson. They brought in Odell Beckham Jr. They very easily could bring in DeAndre Hopkins at any point in this offseason. But even if they don't, they have Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews. They finally built the offense around Lamar Jackson. And from all accounts, they're going to be asking him to pass more, which what we've been asking for him. And we're going to see if it works. But I'm somebody who thinks it will. And I think Lamar Jackson being able to pick and choose, really being an offense where he can really pick and choose where he's throwing and running is going to make him look even more dangerous. It's going to make this offense even more explosive. It's going to make it even more dangerous week to week. And they are for sure going to be competing for a Super Bowl in 2023. They are number 6 in my first power rankings of 2023. Number 5 is going to be the Miami Dolphins. I think with Tua coming back, everything he's done to kind of try to ensure that he's going to be able to stay healthy. I think it'll pay off. And I think with the team that they've built around Tua, I think they're going to be dangerous week in and week out. The defense is going to be very good. Having Vic Fangio come in as defensive coordinator, his team, it could easily have a top 5 defense, top 5 offense if all things go right. That's everything with everything we talk about. If all things go right, you want guys to stay healthy, and you have to be able to figure things out when guys aren't healthy. But assuming that everything goes well, the Dolphins are going to be a problem for people. I think they could be a top 5 team, and that reflects it here in this power rankings. Top 4, cracking here into the top 4, is going to be the Buffalo Bills, who are obviously competing for a Super Bowl. These top 4 teams are all competing for a Super Bowl. We're nitpicking when we get up here at the top. And the thing that really separates it for the Bills and puts them at 4 for me is that I think in the end, their defense is going to hold them back. It's kind of what's been holding them back for years. You can look back at this past offseason or this past postseason and talk about Josh Allen's turnovers, and that's definitely a good reason. But the defense for the Bills, when it matters most, they can't get a pass rush. Now, obviously, Von Miller being healthy kind of changed some things for the Bills, but I just don't know if the Bills' defense is going to be good enough to win a championship for them. And again, we're nitpicking. They very easily could win a championship. I love the Bills. I love Bills Mafia. But for me, they're ranked 4th going into 2023. Number 3 is going to be the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that very easily could get back to a Super Bowl. They still have pretty much all the core pieces. Will they win a Super Bowl? I don't know, because it could be the defense that really costs it for them. But they've done a great job of building around Joe Burrow, especially on the offensive side, and being able to protect Joe Burrow. They went out last year, signed a bunch of offensive linemen, and then they went out and ended up getting Orlando Brown in this offseason. That's going to be huge for this team, especially for Joe Burrow. So the Bengals are ranked 3rd going into 2023. Number 2, to no surprise, is going to be the Eagles. By all accounts, should end up being the best team in the NFC again. I don't know if there's really any questions about that, but it's hard to put them over the team that beat them in the Super Bowl, which is the Kansas City Chiefs, who have Patrick Mahomes, the best player in the NFL, the best quarterback in the NFL. The Chiefs, especially with what they were able to do in this offseason, the pieces that they were able to bring in, still having Andy Reid, still having Patrick Mahomes, hard not to keep him at number 1 going into 2023. So that is my power rankings going into 2023. We will not touch this subject again until after all the games have been played after the first week of the season. Okay, so you let me know down in the comments what you think I got wrong. Where do you think your team should be ranked in the power rankings? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and keep coming back for more off-season content. We'll see you for the next video.